this episode of the Holy Hand Grenade podcast.
He's in this lentil field, and here comes a troop of Philistines. And he's like, nah, not today.
Not taking my lentils.
You're not taking my lentils. And so Shammah didn't need an army. He just needed a reason, and apparently lentils were enough. So,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? What? Like, how do you...
What?
I don't know. It's interesting, though, isn't it?
And he actually wrestles the spear away from the giant and kills the giant with his own spear.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
That would be something like CrossFit or being vegan. Like, if I had Goliath's sword,
You would
everybody
tell
that I met within the first 5 seconds would know I have Goliath's sword.
There were 30 top guys that were just like the champions of the Israeli army. And it's almost like David had a Delta Force. Literally, that's what it was like, because these guys, the escapades and the things that they accomplished and the things that they did were just insane.
We have the Holy Hand Grenade. Yes, of course.
Welcome to Bible study.
Study what?
The Bible.
What was that you said?
Those Bibles aren't going to study themselves.
Is correct, yes. That is what I've been saying.
Oh Lord, bless this thy hand grenade.
Now your head is perfectly on the bottom. That looks really funny.
So the origin, where did the mighty men actually come from? I mean, was there a moment where they became mighty men, or were they like born with little tiny swords in their hands? You know, like you get like a cocktail pineapples or something like that. You know,
They're like the little cocktail swords. I love those things.
Yeah, the little cocktail swords and stuff. I mean, was that what their situation was? No, obviously there was a time where this happened. We know that David was actually a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's reading, he was writing Psalms and, doing all this kind of stuff. And when he shows up to kill Goliath, everybody's laughing at him like,
Right. What's this dude gonna do?
he's not going to do this. He can't pull this off. And then he puts on Saul's armor and it's the wrong size because Saul's
Way too
gigantic. And then he can't use the sword or the spear because he's not trained in battle. But he's like, I'll do it.
But I got this.
I'll do this. God's going to give me the strength, kind of thing.
Okay,
so
bet.
He did not start off as a warrior, but today we're talking about these amazing stories of, unbelievable feats of bravery in battle that he did. So where did it start? And I think what's so cool is there's like 3 different times throughout scripture that David credits God as teaching his hands to war.
Yeah.
My favorite one, Psalms 144. Let's look at that. Psalms 144, verse 1. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. These are battle fingers right here.
But it makes me think of spirit fingers, but they're battle fingers.
So instead of doing this, what do they do? Like this?
It's Kung Fu Panda, guys. It's Kung Fu Panda. You come in there, get the pressure point. Skadoosh. Battle fingers.
That is a battle finger.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's going to be a thing now.
Yeah.
For him to be able to lead these folks, he had to be a pretty tough guy, right? Like,
yeah.
They're following him into battle.
Right.
To the death.
To the death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to be a pretty tough dude, right?
He was. Yeah, so everybody thinks of King David as like the sweet psalmist. However you say it. That's really funny. I love it when you say it.
Oh, the sweet psalmist. Oh,
There we go. That's it.
He's so emotional and he's just in
Squishy.
touch with his feelings.
So
And he just
squishy.
sits there with a harp and he just
Yeah.
creates poetry.
But
Which
honestly,
he did.
yeah.
We did. But he was like this battle hardened like beast of a man as well. So he a couple things that he was able to do that it says in scriptures that he was able to bend a bow of bronze with his bare hands. Like a bow of bronze.
I can't.
That's incredible.
It is like we have bows. We're a hunting family. We've got
we're archers.
recurve. We got compound bows. They're really hard to pull back.
That's
are.
right.
So to
And
have
they're not
a
even
bronze one,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how many pounds of pressure you have to put on a bronze bow, but it's a lot.
It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. It's
It doesn't
definitely not a
flex
few.
very much. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen, bronze flexing, but it don't.
It
Yeah.
don't.
Well, if you think
Unless you're David.
But
right?
apparently he bends it all day.
Yeah. If you think his arms are strong, let's talk about his neck. So he actually wore a golden crown that was taken from a giant king. This is not like a king that was king of a lot of people, so he's a big king. No, he was a king and he was a giant.
He was an enormous man.
He was an enormous man. His crown weighed between 75 and 100 pounds.
And
David wore it.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. That's like going to the gym and getting 2 45-pound plates and putting them on your head.
And walking
That's
around.
crazy.
Walking around with
That'd
it.
be 90 pounds right there.
For fun.
Strong
Like,
neck.
It's
real,
just
real thick neck man.
he's thick neck man. Oh my gosh. But then also thinking
Thick
about
fillet.
like anyways, so David, when everybody knows David and Goliath, right? And he's
Yeah.
slinging around the slingshot and he whoop-ah, and he hits him in the forehead and he falls over, he keels over, right? But we don't know if that actually killed him. What definitely killed him was that David ran up then, grabbed Goliath's sword, pulled it out of the sheath, and chopped off the giant's head with it.
How big do you think that sword would have
It
to
had
be?
to have been huge because Goliath was huge. It would have been a bigger sword.
You
And
said he was 9 feet tall?
9.5.
Almost 10.
9.5
Yeah.
feet tall.
I mean, it's what, a 4-foot sword? Easily? 5-foot sword?
Yeah. I don't
I don't know
know.
what the
Yeah,
math
maybe
is, but
5.
it definitely wasn't his pocket knife.
No.
You know, no, it was Goliath's.
not a dagger.
No.
It was a whole sword.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, this is a sword. And it actually comes into play later on because David is running from Saul. He's being chased down. His life is under threat. And he goes to a temple and he asks the priest there, do you guys have any weapons? I mean, I wouldn't go to a church and be like, y'all got an arsenal?
Right.
You know, like, I'm
yeah.
not going to go there. But anyways, he did. He goes there. What do you have for me? And the priest comes out and he's like, well, we still have Goliath's sword. You know, the guy the giant that you slew. And he hands him the sword. And David's able to wield the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means that David was like huge, like in stature, or if he was just that he was just powerful and strong. But either way, I mean, that's
It's a
speaks
gift
volumes.
from God. We know that.
Has to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, David said that there is no sword like it in scripture.
I
Like,
would have
that's what
loved to have seen that thing.
Yeah. So it was a unique weapon. It wasn't just like a regular sword. But yeah. So, and then also.
That would be something like CrossFit or being vegan. Like if I had Goliath's sword,
you would tell
everybody that I met within the first 5 seconds would know I have Goliath's sword.
CrossFit and vegan.
Seriously.
It's-
CrossFit's really good, and if you do CrossFit, no, no
to
shade,
do
but
CrossFit.
it is the first thing that you tell everybody. You know you do.
Nicole
Within the
did
first 5
CrossFit,
seconds,
so-
I do
Yeah.
CrossFit, or I'm vegan.
I did until I had an injury and I couldn't do it anymore. So
Yeah.
Sad
Yeah.
day. Did
Yeah.
you tell everybody right when you met them? About within the first 5 minutes that you did CrossFit?
No, I don't talk to people, Ashley. You know this.
She
She's
did.
right.
Where
She
do
still
I
wore
go?
You wore the
I don't
CrossFit
meet
shirts,
people.
though.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Anyways, okay. So the women of Israel also would sing songs about David in the streets. And so there's one song that's listed in scripture. It talks about how Saul killed his thousands, but David killed his tens of
Oh,
thousands.
man.
Yeah, dude, and that issue went viral. Even the Philistines knew that song. Like,
Yeah.
your enemies know the song about you.
I would
Yep.
would be like, wait, how many thousands? Huh? You know, tens of thousands?
This guy, how many? He's like, and you know you're going up to battle against him, and then you're just like, that song's playing in your head. Like, I don't wanna
be one of them.
I don't
I'm
wanna
Not the
do it.
10,000 guy. Yeah.
We're not going to make it out of this.
No. They said tens of thousands, guys. We're gonna need more. We're gonna need more troops.
We're in trouble.
For
Yeah.
real.
So the name Mighty Men that everybody knows these men by is the original Hebrew word is Gibborim, and it means mighty men, men of valor, men of renown. And they're also called the 30. So it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
this elite special ops group of David's army. So he
Right.
had a massive army. And then there were 30 top guys that were just like the champions of the Israeli army. And it's almost like David had a Delta Force.
That's so
Literally, that's
cool.
what it was like. Because these guys, the escapades and the things that they accomplished and the things that they did were just insane.
David's Delta Force.
David's Delta Force.
And it's amazing
yeah.
because, you know, these are the best of the best from all the different divisions of his military coming in and forming a group. They were known as the 30, like you said. But if you turn to 2 Samuel 23, and if you can count, you're going to be like, there's more than 30 guys. This is the Bible. Like, can God count? You know, like
Yeah.
what's going on here? But the reality is it was a group of approximately 30 people. Some of them died. which would be really hard to kill them. But some of them did die in battle.
Yeah.
Some of them, might have retired or, grew out of it or weren't a part of it at the beginning but joined later. But around 30 guys stayed in this. We would call
Right.
it like a platoon today in the military. So it's an elite fighting force and it's very flexible. But if they had special missions, we actually see examples where they would actually become like 3 guys would just get together and they're like, we're doing this one. Sometimes just one guy was enough. One guy stayed in the middle of a field or something like that. And we'll talk about these amazing stories later, but it's awesome to be able to see how they did this. And then a lot of them were actually like bodyguards. So like armor bearers, or even David's own personal guard. So almost like a secret service function as well, being there to protect, high value individuals. So really cool when we look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the personal guard stuff would make sense when they're not going to war because there was a certain time of year when they went to war.
That's
And
crazy.
It was springtime.
There was like an agreed upon time.
It's like we have rules for war now. They had rules for war then. It's like, I'll see you April 1st, bud. We talk smack all through winter. Like, I'm going to come get you for what
Okay,
you did
Chief.
to me last May, Chief.
Chief, I'll be waiting on you.
I'm going to come see you at
Come
your
at me, bro.
house.
I'm just picturing this
exactly.
like, I love
And there's
the spring.
smack talk in the Bible too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No, but there's multiple references in the Old Testament where that spring was the specific time
Yeah.
that they would go to war. And there was smack talk throughout the other months
That's
about, I'm
so
going to come
cool.
get you when springtime comes.
You just wait till
You may,
spring.
you may have got me last year, but I'm going to get you next year.
Yeah.
Gonna get you.
But like some of the stuff that these dudes pulled off. I mean, they had the winter time to prep, right? They're like, okay.
They're hitting
we're-
the gym.
Oh, dude, CrossFit, vegan, the whole nine. The whole nine.
They had to get protein. They couldn't do
They were eating lentils. That's why he was
They were
protecting
eating
the field.
lentils.
They were eating
That's
lentils.
right, the lentil field. Yeah, which we'll get to that. So my favorite mighty man is Benaiah. And we know him by the claws, jaws, and giant. So there's the first. He's known for three major things. So the first thing was that he killed 2 lion-like men from Moab. And so my crazy conspiracy brain goes, lion-like. That must be Nephilim, right? No. But what it actually means in the Bible is that they were champions. They were the elite. So it's like king of the jungle kind of thing. They're the top of the food chain. These were lion-like men, so they were, the top of the top.
That's so
And
cool.
Benaiah killed 2 of them from Moab.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they were not Nephilim, but he did come up against a Nephilim. It was a giant Egyptian dude. And actually, in scripture, it calls him a spectacular man.
Spectacular,
He
man.
was huge.
I would be just, honestly, I know this is really obvious, but these people are trained killers, right?
Mhm.
Warriors. And so every single one that you come across is like, they're professional killers.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just taking out a big guy or a strong guy or somebody who's, I don't know, just like impressive to look at. You're looking at somebody who's skilled at murder,
Yeah.
at killing.
Yeah. Delta Force.
Yeah.
SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
they're elite, trained, and we believe like divinely imbued with power and strength and stuff.
Nice
So
And-
word usage, Nicole.
thanks.
Yeah.
Wow,
Powerful
I'm sitting next to an
stuff.
encyclopedia. over
Yeah.
here. Good night.
Webster,
Smart.
get over
Smart.
here.
SMAHT. Smart.
I is smart. Okay. And so then the Egyptian guy.
Yes.
So this was a giant,
Okay.
big guy. I think he was 7.5 feet tall. So you can picture it like Benaiah is looking off. See this big old Egyptian dude, right? He's got his spear. Benaiah grabs a staff, runs up to him, and he actually wrestles the spear away from the giant and kills the giant with his own spear.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, and it describes it describes the spear as like a weaver's beam. So this is the same phrase that's used to describe Goliath's spear as well. And so it's a massive spear. This isn't just like a little like
I picture
pointy
like a
stick.
Home Depot, like a 4x4 that's like 8 feet long.
Yeah.
Just a giant beam.
Yeah, it's like a telephone pole with a knife on the end.
Yes.
That's more of what we're looking at here.
And it
with
was
this
his.
Giant. And it was
he
his.
probably had his initials carved in and everything, and now it's sticking out of his chest.
Embarrassing.
You know,
No.
this is not how it's supposed to go. This is my spear.
Killed with your own spear.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. But then there's a third story, and this one's actually my favorite. So there's Benaiah, there's a pit, there's snow, and there's a lion in it. And he decides, yep, I want that fight. So he hops in this pit and kills a lion with his hands. Like hand-to-hand combat with a lion
That just
in a
blows
pit.
me away.
Yeah, so I looked up pit because I'm like, what kind of pit are we talking about? Is this like a hole? Something that somebody dug? Like it's just like a ditch kind of thing? No. So this word is the same word that's used in Genesis. So when we were studying Joseph and his brothers threw him into a pit. So we did some research into what the word was there. And it most likely was a cistern. So it would have been like a cavity under the ground that would hold water, and there would be a more narrow opening to keep the water from evaporating. So it was like a water tank, and he saw a lion down in it, and he decided to jump in the hole.
That's
He had to prep for spring training, you know?
Yeah, well,
Like,
he needed cardio.
It's
Yeah,
almost
apparently.
spring.
yeah, there's snow on the ground. It's winter time. He's bored. He hasn't fought anything in a while.
He's
and he
waiting
finds
for
a
spring to
lion.
come around.
I mean, it was perfect for him.
Yeah.
Just-
apparently he killed a lion. So
The amount of strength that lions have is unbelievable. I've seen videos with them doing like tug of war at the zoo with like bodybuilders
Yeah.
versus one female lion. You know, not even like one of the male lions or something like that. And I mean, she's taking out like 5 bodybuilders. You know,
That's
stronger
crazy.
than them, and just
Yeah.
pulling with her teeth. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane to think about jumping into a dark cave and be like in close contact,
Yeah.
hand to hand combat.
With a
and be like,
lion.
With a
yeah,
lion.
I'm going to be able to have the reflexes and the strength and the prowess to be able to handle this.
yeah.
It's nuts.
But the coolest thing about Benaiah is that it was his loyalty. So he stayed loyal to David through the entire thing.
That's cool.
As, him becoming king and then his son, and, he's trying to kill him and everything. He actually becomes the head of David's personal guard.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then with Solomon, he actually becomes the head general of the entire army of Israel under Solomon.
Well deserved. I
Well
wonder if he had like
deserved,
a
yeah.
patch that was like a lion with like an X through it or something. You know?
He's the dude. He's
One-
totally the guy.
Totally the guy.
Totally the guy.
One of the stories that I love is these 3 guys that overhear David. So he's in battle with the Philistines, and he's in his fortress looking across the field of Rephaim. So basically the field of giants. Not a great place to be doing battle at, but he's there and he's watching the Philistines. They're camped out in front of the gates of Bethlehem, David's hometown where he grew up. And he just says it out loud, but it's like more to himself. It seems like he's like, oh, what I would give to be able to take one more drink of water from the well of Bethlehem. Like, to taste the water, because, water has a different taste wherever you go.
Right.
Taste the water that I had as a boy, kind of thing. And these 3 mighty men overhear that, and they're like, bet. And they go go across the Valley of Giants, fight their way all the way through an entire military army of Philistines, go bloop, dip some water, put it into some kind of container, come back out, fight their way back, and make it back to David. David, guess what we got for you? Merry Christmas. And David is so overwhelmed by the sacrifice that they made. He goes, this was bought with blood, or something to that effect. And he just takes and pours it on the ground instead of drinking it.
This story really frustrates Ashley.
I just
How do you feel about this story, Ashley?
Well, it's two-sided, okay? Because it's like in one hand, we just did all this to get you some water.
You gotta be kidding me.
For nostalgic purposes, and you dumped it on the ground. Then there's the other side of it where it's like his mighty men worshipped Yahweh too, and David felt like it was better to give it to God than to drink it himself. So it's like, was this an honor? But for me personally,
if it was you,
if I just crossfitted my way through all these
it's the
Philistines
theme for the day.
to get some water and made it back out of the village and back across the Rephaim treachery and watch you dump it on the ground, like, I'm sorry, I'm annoyed.
Yep.
I'm annoyed.
That's how
like,
I feel
just did
too.
all this for you because I was bored or something.
That's how
And
I feel too.
I mean,
But then,
like what?
then there's this story of Eleazar sword hands.
Dude, Eleazar sword hands. He's man.
Nice change of subject.
So, but Sam, I love when we talked about this earlier. I love the way you put it because you put this excellent image in my mind of him just like Israel is bailing, right? Like they see all these dudes they're about to fight, and Israel is running the other direction, and then Eleazar just arose like he was sitting in meditation pose or something, and just arose and was like, "I'm ready." Let's go.
Inner peace.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love the image that you put in my head from that was perfect.
I think
Absolutely
it's
perfect.
amazing to be able to see just the bravery. Like if you're there in battle and all of a sudden all of your men leave, they
Yeah.
desert. They're like, the
he's
enemy,
like,
and
"Well,
they take off.
Let's go.
And it just says he arose, and then he just slew them and just
kept
kept killing
going so
until his
hard.
hand was fused to the sword.
Fused to the sword. Whether it was stuck there by blood, we don't know, or the muscles just atrophied.
Yeah, it would've been,
because
like,
he had
glued
been
on
flinging
there.
this thing around, chopping heads off so much.
Maybe it's like an Assassin's Creed thing, like
Assassin's
and the sword just comes out or something like that. Eleazar sword hands.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
literally, it's the Bible says that his sword was stuck to his hand.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had to pry it out of his hand.
Yeah,
That
that's
is crazy.
gnarly.
How many
Yeah.
people do you have to kill?
For it to be stuck.
I don't know, but there's
Over
two
and
guys
over.
that are mentioned specifically for the number of people they killed.
These
Oh,
are my
yeah, yeah, yeah.
favorites.
Yes.
These are my
Yeah, yeah.
favorites.
So it's Josheb-Basshebeth and Abishai.
Okay.
You said the names perfectly.
I'm telling you,
I
like,
worked on the pronunciation.
That is so good.
I would have butchered it 12 times before I got it right.
So these two guys are listed as each of them having at least 300 kills in one day. And this is not like, so we think of like modern day guys that have been able to do things like this, and they are incredible, incredible soldiers and warriors, but they had guns.
Yeah.
They had long distance ability to kill people.
yeah.
This
And
is
it was
there
still
were no
very
machine
impressive. Not trying
Yeah.
to.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I want to make sure that I'm not, downgrading
Like we're very
anything that
thankful
they've
for our
done.
veterans
Yeah,
and things
and
like
what
this.
they've done. But these guys, this was hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
This was up close and personal. This wasn't like you're
Right.
shooting somebody from a distance, machine gun sniper.
Yeah.
This was hand-to-hand, up front, personal,
Yeah.
kind of kills. So then the last guy we're going to talk about is Shammah. And this is a guy that, again, Israel was retreating. Everybody was hightailing it out of there. He's in this lentil field, and here comes a troop of Philistines. And he's like, nah, not today.
Not taking
He's like,
my lentils.
You're not taking my lentils. And so he didn't
It's
need
really
an
into
army.
protein.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. Shammah didn't need an army. He just needed a reason, and apparently lentils were enough. So the Philistines were surrounding him, and he was literally fighting off this. He killed the entire troop by himself, defending this lentil field.
I mean, there's nothing to his back. There's nothing, protecting him from either side.
No.
I mean, they can come in 360s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 360 degrees. And I mean, how do you defend that? And yet he's just like, I'm going to kill all of you. Like every single one of you, I'm going to kill them all.
Yeah,
300
save
men
the
at
lentils.
once.
just for the lentils. Well, I mean, it was food. It was a food source. So it would feed families. It would feed Israel. It was, control. Food was, so it was probably because of that reason that the Philistines were going after the lentil field and why he defended it. But yeah,
That's crazy. And
defeated a bunch of Philistines in a lentil field. It's pretty epic.
it's cool. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And when I listen to these stories, I think the number one thing, if I was a critic of the Bible, I'd be like, this is fairy tale. This is all made up.
Mhm.
This is typical of this day and age. Kings and queens and conquerors love to be able to spin yarns of tales of the glories.
Spin a good
how I came in
yarn.
and conquested and brought these people into submission with my might. And I mean, yeah, that's a very popular thing to do. But the Bible is very, very specific with not just the good things, but the bad stuff, the ugly stuff, the dirty stuff. You can actually see that in the same chapter too. 2 Samuel 23, the last person mentioned is Uriah. So it's going and it's bragging about David's conquest and it's bragging about the mighty men and what they've done. But it also gives you the reality check too, because Uriah is the man that David actually had an affair with his wife. and then murdered Uriah, one of his own mighty men, to cover up the affair. And so the Bible is not trying to exaggerate or embellish. It's giving you the facts. No, he killed 300 men. Also, here's some other bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's not shying away from that.
And I think that's a point for the entire Bible being true, too, because it was written down by the Jews. And if you read it,
it's not that great.
They don't look very good.
Right.
Like, we always say that the victors are the ones who write history. Well, these people wrote down all the horrible things that they did, which no other culture does that.
Not a good plan.
It's not a good look.
When you're trying to come up with like a holy book, you're going to want to write like this person did everything perfectly and they did it better. The only time they do this is with Jesus. Like, we get to see the imperfections and things like this. There's some characters in the Bible that they don't actually mention bad things about.
Joseph
but
and
it
Daniel.
doesn't present them. But it doesn't present them as perfect.
Right.
It just doesn't mention the bad, like the times that they messed up.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, speaking of fairy tales, let's talk about giants.
Okay.
That are not fairy tales.
They're not fairy tales. Right. But everybody thinks they are. But they're not, because they're in the Bible. They were real. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail. We did do an entire episode on the Nephilim and on giants. It's episode 6, so I can link it.
Check that
right
out.
Here.
That's a really cool
Somewhere
episode.
right in here. So you can click that link. Go check it out. Really good episode. But so just as a quick overview. In Genesis 6 is where they first pop up. They are the offspring of angels and women, and they're the Nephilim. And so there were these giants that were born. They end up populating the land of Canaan. And so when Moses and the Israelites come through the wilderness, they're fighting off these giants. They get into the promised land, Joshua in the promised land. They fight off a lot of giants there. These spies that went into the promised land, that's when they saw the grapes the size of like basketballs and stuff. That was nuts. Yeah, they said were grasshoppers in their sight. So they pop up continually for a good time after the flood. And it actually says in Genesis 6, they were there before the flood and also afterwards. So
I was just thinking about giants, that checks out, but actually larger grapes than normal.
I know. Why was there fruit?
Wait a second. Why was their food bigger? And then I'm like, well, big mouths need big grapes.
But,
that checks
out. But you think they would just eat more grapes, not giant grapes.
Right,
okay.
exactly. It's amazing.
So, but anyway, so there's different tribes of the giants, and they're the Nephilim, Rephaim, Anakim, Amim, Zamzummim.
All the Eames.
All the Eames, yeah. All these different groups. And they were giants that were scattered throughout. And so they pop up repeatedly. Goliath, obviously, was one of the Nephilim. He was actually specifically a Rephaim. And so we know that story. And we'll talk about some more. But fun fact, the record for the largest giant kill in the Bible goes to Moses and the Israelites.
That's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right? Not the mighty man.
I think of David, the giant killer, right? I mean, there's there's songs about it, there's movies about it, or whatever. No, the prize doesn't go to David.
It was the Moses and the Israelites. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 3.
Okay.
And it's actually Og, king of Bashan.
Yeah.
And he was almost 12 feet tall. Yeah, he was
just crazy.
Huge guy.
Just insane. I mean, literally his shoulders would have come to like a basketball rim. And then like his head up above that.
Yeah. Basketball rim is 10 feet.
10 feet,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 feet over
above
top of that.
That's King Og of Bashan. Yeah. So he was actually the last of the Rephaim. But a really cool connection to Genesis is in Genesis 15 with the Abrahamic covenant. God promised that Abraham's descendants would inherit the land of the Rephaim. So when Moses and the Israelites went and defeated King Og, they actually took the land, and that prophecy was fulfilled.
That's so cool because I mean, just like God was saying, I'm going to give your grandkids are going to live in, possess, own the land of the giants.
That's
like
crazy.
what a promise.
Like that's your
That's
inheritance.
a heck of a promise, yeah.
Not to be punny, but what a tall order.
Oh,
See what
that
you
was
did there.
good. That was good.
So that's the giants inhabiting that land. Then after all that kind of conquest happening, we see in Joshua chapter 11 that the giants had been kind of corralled into three main cities, one of them being Gath, and that's where Goliath came from.
Mm-hmm.
So David's famous for killing Goliath. That's giant number one.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout his military campaign or career, he actually fights a lot of different giants. One of them actually almost kills him, and that was one of the last times he was in battle, which is interesting. But as they're fighting these giants, they're actually a big problem. And Goliath actually had brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were also
4 of them.
giants.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So there's a really cool thing that it's, if you're paying attention, it's really strange. So when David goes to fight Goliath and he's got his slingshot, he's getting his stone, he actually picks up 5 stones, not just 1. So then the argument is, did he think he might miss?
Yeah, he's like, I'm a bad shot.
I'm a bad shot. So I need to have, backup to be able to try again. I don't think that was the case. Goliath ended up having 4 brothers. So when he picked up 5 stones, a lot of people say that it is like almost like a prophetic thing that he's like, I'm going to kill you and I'm going after your brothers too.
That's cool. That is cool. So, I mean, it's something that really is a big part of, and 1 Samuel chapter 21 actually details a lot of the conquest of giants. If you ever want to check that out, 1 Samuel chapter 21, so you can look at those stories. But what's interesting to me as well, and you'll see this in episode 6 with the Nephilim, we believe that there's a spiritual component to these giants, to the Nephilim, that a lot of what we consider ghosts or demons today are actually the spirits of these giants.
Right.
And so in Psalms 22, penned by David, but it's actually a messianic psalm. And what is a messianic psalm, Ashley?
It's a psalm about Jesus that's quoted in the New Testament.
There you go.
1,000 years before Jesus even shows up, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
So Psalms 22 is actually penned by David, and it's a first-person account of Jesus on the cross. And one of the things that he says on there is, while hanging on the cross, that the bulls of Bashan encircle me.
So interesting.
And when you look up the bulls of Bashan, it's Abir, the word Abir. And it can mean bulls, but it also can mean angels or mighty men. And so I think it's pointing to like a spiritual component, like the celebration of demonic spiritual forces that were there delighting in. And if you watched our last episode, we talked about that, how God laid a divine trap and he made a public spectacle of the spiritual forces. So that's really,
Y'all should
really
go
cool.
check out that episode. It was really good.
So anyways, that's just such a unique thing that David would be. He's a giant slayer and a giant killer. And he would actually pin that. And the reason I think also Bashan, I forgot to mention this, that's the hometown of Og.
Yeah.
The one that Moses killed.
Right.
So when he says
so it
bulls
was a
of
giant.
Bashan or mighty men of Bashan encircle round about me, I think that's really, really interesting.
So the mighty men are awesome. But the question is, why did these guys follow David? So what kind of man creates that kind of loyalty?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he started out as this giant slaying outlaw, right? Like, I'd follow that guy. Like, that sounds like a good Western,
Good West.
But then he becomes the king of Israel.
Yeah.
And he's a worship leader. I mean, God says that he's a man after his own heart. Like, this dude was a warrior. Like, they followed him to the death.
Mm-hmm.
The most loyal dudes ever.
Certain like magnetism to somebody like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's inspiring in every sense of the word, right? Like, these dudes were Ammonites, Hittites. They weren't like Yahweh fearing guys. They weren't Israelites.
They were pagans. They were enemy nations that some of these guys were coming from.
Right. But watching what God did through David made them believe. I mean, how cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then just how they would put their lives on the line, even for David.
Oh, yeah. And then 2 Samuel 22 says that they called him the Lamp of Israel. That's such a cool...
Yeah, that story is incredible to me because there's a situation where there's this huge giant. Again, they're fighting giants.
Yeah.
That they're fighting with, and he sees David get tired. And so he thinks this is my chance to take out the great King David. And he goes over to do that. And one of the mighty men throws himself in the way and kills the giant for David. And basically at that point in time, they're like, you don't go to battle anymore. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Lest you extinguish the lamp of Israel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Like
So they
how
had
awesome
so
is
much
that?
respect for him.
Yeah.
And would put their lives on the line for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So awesome.
So David wasn't perfect by any means, but God was with him and men followed him because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that,
So cool.
That makes a huge deal. You guys were talking about them coming from like, different groups, some of them being Gentiles and that kind of stuff. Zalek, the Ammonite, when I saw his name in the list of
No
37,
joke.
Ammonite. I was like, wait
Yeah.
a second. I see Jew, like I see, from Judah, from Benjamin, from this tribe, that kind of, and all of a sudden you start seeing all the ites. And I'm
It's
like, the Ammonite?
Like
What?
The sworn
Ammonites?
enemies of
Yes.
Israel? That's like having, somebody from North Korea start protecting the president. Kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you're Secret Service now or something like what are you talking about? So that just was really incredible to see that he even inspired his enemies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
It's awesome.
and that is what makes David's mighty men so unforgettable. God built a kingdom with these guys. The men who attached themselves to God's chosen king and became mighty men because of it, which honestly is good news. Because if God can use them, he can definitely use us.
Hey, if you like this episode, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video and turn on your notifications, because if you do, you can see when we post new videos. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Son of a monkey.
Son of a monkey's uncle.